I'm gonna let you in on a secret. The Volvo XC90 is actually the best car in the world. Don't tell your friends, because the waiting list will be really, really long if everybody finds out. Hi, hello, and good afternoon. It is a very beautiful and sunny day here in gorgeous South Norway, or to be more precise, Kristiansand. So finally, after driven 5,000 kilometers with the 2016 Volvo XC90 D4 Inscription, I'm ready to give you guys a review. So hope you guys enjoy. This is going to be a long one because reviews are long. So hope you guys enjoy. So to start off with a real bombshell, I actually think that this car might be the best car in the world. Before you downvote this, before you give me a thumbs down, please watch the review and please hear me out, okay? Because this is actually, it's not a good car. It's not a fantastic car. This is a great car. And I'm going to tell you guys why it is a great car. Because there are many reasons to love this car and very few reasons to not like this car. So one of the reasons why I think this car is so great is it looks great inside and out. I mean, look at it. It's gorgeous outside. And I know many people don't like the look of an SUV. I do. And I think this is probably the prettiest SUV in the class. And I mean, interior wise, also look at this gorgeous interior. It's just filled with miles of stitched Napa leather, real wood, matte wood, not that shiny and glossy stuff they've been making for 150 years. It's just beautiful metals and piano black finishes. And I mean, everywhere, every surface you touch is high quality. It's either a high quality plastic or a high quality leather or steel. It's just by far the best interior in the class, and I mean by far. It is better than the Range Rover Sport and better than the Range Rover. The only interior that is better than this interior is in a car I haven't driven yet, which is the Bentley Bentayga, but that is a car that costs 5, 4, 6 times as much as this car. That car is just ridiculously expensive. But in the marketplace below the stupidly expensive Bentley Bentayga, nothing can even touch this. I mean, I've sat in Range Rovers after owning this car, and they have very nice interiors. I mean, the Range Rover has a gorgeous interior, but it cannot compete with this. It's not as nice as this interior. One of the things I really like about this car, and if you've watched my previous videos, for example, the video why I bought it, I've gone more into depth of the reasons that I bought it. But one of the reasons I really like this car is the comfort levels it gives you. And that was just a very big speed bump. But with this car, which is equipped with 4C chassis control, or whatever they call it, air suspension, it rides really nicely. And in the middle here you have this drive mode. You can press it and you have eco, comfort, off-road, dynamic, and individual. So my individual is actually set to just everything soft, everything light. The steering is super light. The throttle response is super slow, just super comfort mode. So comfort wise, this car is one of the very best cars in the business. Not only in the SUV class, the full size or mid-size class, or the full-size luxury sedans or saloons or whatever you call them, the S classes and 7 Series. This car is one of the very, very best riding cars in the car business today. With this chassis controller air suspension, you have this drive mode selection, and you can put this car in dynamic mode. And for many years, you know, dynamic mode and stuff like that were just marketing ploys, but in recent years, like especially in the last 5 years, with better chassis, with better computers and electronics and just better engineering, cars have really benefited from things like individual settings. And this car in dynamic mode is a completely different beast than this car in comfort mode. I mean, it transforms the car. It tightens up the steering, and this car actually has really quick steering, which is just a pleasure on motorways like I'm on now, or twisty roads and whatever. This car in dynamic mode, it lowers. I have no idea how much it lowers. So, and the shocks get tighter or harder, firmer, and the steering weights up. And this being a 2-ton, 5-meter long, 2-meter wide SUV, it really handles. I mean, it's amazing how this car handles. It's impressive because this car drives as good as a Bmw X5, and Volvo aren't traditionally known for making good handling cars. That's been BMW's job, but this car genuinely handles like an X5 when in dynamic mode, and when in comfort mode, it's more comfortable than an X5. So as good or almost as good handling, like 97% good in the handling department, except this has quicker steering, so it might actually be on par. So let's say 99.5%. Let's just give the BMW a 0.5% on the handling, but this car is more comfortable, so it wins the handling and comfort. One department where this car blows most of the competition out of the water is in the infotainment department. I know I'm just a guy who owns an XC90 who likes cars, but I worked with consumer electronics for almost 5 years. I was a manager a few years ago now, but I was store manager for an electronics store. So we sold everything from mobile phones to everything, tablets, Kindles, all kinds of consumer electronics. So I would like to, I see myself as somewhat educated on the subject. I am a tech guy. I am very interested in tech, even though I don't work in the tech business at all. In my opinion, OnTech does carry some weight. So when I say that the Sensus infotainment system on the 2016 Volvo, which will be coming to the 2017 Volvo S90 and V90, is the best in the business. I mean, it's so good that if you watched my Apple CarPlay video on this Sensus, the Sensus infotainment is so good that the CarPlay, for the most part, just feels redundant. It can't compete to the Sensus. And when you make your built-in infotainment system that good that you don't even want to use the CarPlay because you feel like the built-in functions are better, you've done something right. and Volvo have, because it's so easy to use. And I'm a guy who, I'm skeptical to touchscreens, because the Germans for so many years, BMW with its iDrive, I remember back in 2001, late 2000, when BMW announced iDrive on their website, just watching those videos and thinking, my God, this is the greatest thing since the Creative Jukebox MP3 player, which had a 6 GB built-in hard drive. I had one of those when I was like 15. That the iDrive is just revolutionary, and it was too advanced for its time. And then they refined it over the last 15 years and made it one of the best. Audi had MMI, which was better out of the box when it came out, but isn't as good as the iDrive today. And then you have Mercedes with its Command, which is in 3rd place in the German infotainment department. This Sensus is built like a tablet. It's built like a mobile phone, and everybody can use a mobile phone. That's why they're so popular, because they work and they're easy to use. They're intuitive, they make sense. And this is the exact same way. Infotainment systems will never be the same, because MMI or iDrive, especially iDrive, was, in my opinion, so easy to use, so much better than the competition. But Volvo Sensus is by far the best infotainment system. Everything just feels old-fashioned. I mean, the Porsches, I don't know what it's called, the Porsche's touchscreen system with its tech there just feels so old-fashioned compared to this. And I know that is a 6-year-old system which has probably had an update with the latest facelift, but still, this feels 20 years ahead of that system, and it feels almost a decade ahead in front of the, no, not a decade, that's not being fair. It feels like 5 years in front of the iDrive. This XC90 is a D4. D4 means diesel. This is not available in all markets. For example, in the US, you guys don't get this car. In Canada, you don't get this car. But in Europe and a lot of Asian markets, probably the most popular option is the diesel. And this is the D4, which is a 2-liter diesel, a twin turbo unit with 190 brake horsepower and 400 Newton meters of torque, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of you guys have been asking the question, how is the D4? Is 190 horsepower enough for this car? Is it too little? And to be perfectly honest, it is sufficient. I mean, town driving, city driving, up to like 60 or 70 kilometers an hour, it's actually very punchy. So if you do most of your driving in a city, it's more than enough. But it has actually sufficient passing power. So when you're on a 2-lane country road, it does have enough power to pass. Should you get the D5 diesel instead? Well, if that isn't much more expensive in your part of the world, I'd say yes, go for it. But here in Norway, that was a pretty nice price jump. It's $7,000 or $8,000 extra, and in my opinion, that was for 35 horsepower that I'm not going to use that much. It wasn't worth the price jump, in my opinion, in this market, but that might be different where you are from. The D4 unit is sufficient, and I mean that to the fullest extent of the word. It's sufficient, it's enough, you don't need more, or I don't need more. But one thing, it's very refined. I mean, the sound insulation, the engine insulation in this car is fantastic. Probably the best in a luxury SUV. Meaning that this 4-cylinder is actually, it's not actually, but it feels more refined than V6 diesels in the Porsche Cayenne, the Range Rover Sport, and other cars that should be more refined but have more engine noise, more vibration, because they're not as well sound insulated as this car. So that's really impressive that Volvo managed to pull that trick off, making a 4-cylinder 2-liter diesel feel more refined than the competition's 3-liter V6s. A lot of you guys have been asking about the Bowers & Wilkins premium sound system in this car, and I will be giving you guys a more detailed review on that at a later point. I have a lot of videos that I will be making, but I just have so much time to make the videos. Hang with me in there, and I will be making those videos for you guys. But to sum up, the Bowers & Wilkins is a $2,500, $3,000 option, maybe even more depending on which market you buy this car in, and it is, in my opinion, worth every penny. It is the best sound system south of 6 or 7 grand, no doubt. Nothing can touch this sound system below that money. So if you're even considering it, you can afford the upgrade and you like audio, go for it. No doubt in my mind, you have to go for it. Volvo is chasing luxury, and traditionally Volvo image-wise has been below Mercedes, below BMW, and below Audi. But remember, or maybe not a lot of you people remember, but once upon a time, Audi was considered not a luxury brand, especially in markets like the US and Asian markets. But Audi has quickly become, with the right design and right products, has quickly become one of the leading and most prestigious luxury brands in the world. So Volvo seems to be chasing the same dream, and with this new XC90 they have surpassed the competition. This car is better than an Audi Q7. It is better than a Bmw X5. It's better than a Porsche Cayenne, and it's better than a Range Rover Sport. Is it better than the big Range Rover? Well, if you consider money, yes. But if money is no object, the big Range Rover is still a better car. It's more refined. It's just as luxurious, but it's more refined and it's just a bit bigger. So in my opinion, luxury wise, this car is the best in its class. Interior wise, it is the best. Exterior wise, it is one of the prettiest. Handling wise, it's up there with a Bmw X5, just shy of a Porsche Cayenne. So what more categories are there? I mean, this car is not good, it's not very good, it's not spectacular. This car is great, and Volvo have done a fantastic job. Yeah, there's no more to say about that. It is just that good. It is one of the best cars, the best car possibly in the world. So let me know what you guys think. Comment below if you disagree, if you agree with me. What do you guys think the best car in the world is? And we're not talking about sports cars. Of course, this car can't compare to a LaFerrari or a 918 Spider or a McLaren P1. But for ordinary, normal people with normal income, it doesn't get much better than this. For daily use, for practical use, for luxury, for comfort. So, if you like this video, please click the like button in the description below, and for more car content, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time. Goodbye.